Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel Beyond the Treatment Couch. So today is the second video in the Introduction to Barbell Strength Training series. If you missed the first one on the deadlift, then go back and check that out once you've watched this one, of course. So today we're going to be focusing on the press. And if you hang around to the end, I'll give you my press top tip. So whereas the deadlift is very much a lower back and leg exercise, the press is taking us up to the upper body. It's often referred to as a shoulder press, but that doesn't quite do its service because it's not just the shoulder muscle group that's involved. It involves the triceps, it involves a bit of chest, a bit of upper back, it involves the core. So when you're stood pushing an unstable, heavy object above your head, your core muscles are working incredibly hard as well. So why do we want to be strong with a pressing action? Well, it's incredibly useful to be able to push things up above our head, lift something up onto a cupboard, lower something down. It's maybe a feature in your sport or exercise. Maybe you want to throw your kids up as high as the other dads and the other mums and the other grandparents. So whatever the reasoning is, the press is going to be getting you very strong at pushing things up, lowering things down. And you could even just be doing it just like I do for the pure enjoyment of the satisfaction of starting with an empty bar and then gradually needing to add weight until you're pressing weights that you never thought possible. You don't have to be justifying yourself to anyone as to why you're strength training. I'm hoping you're doing it for the pure enjoyment and the pleasure to be gained from feeling yourself and seeing yourself getting stronger. So unlike the deadlift, where the worst thing that's going to happen is your ego is going to be damaged if you can't pick it up off the floor, once you're pressing heavy steel weights above your head, we're now starting to move into the territory of potential injuries, which we obviously want to avoid at all cost. So what I'll be teaching you today is how to press within a squat rack for optimal safety. I'll also show you how to press outside of the squat rack, but if you've got access to a squat rack and you can press inside it, that's always going to be my preference. So I'll show you first off how to set up safely within a squat rack. So the first important point is the bar height. And for most people, the bar height for the press is going to be the same height as for the back squat, which we'll get onto in a future video. So the easiest way to figure out where the height needs to be when it's resting on the rack is stand side on, arm out to the side, and the bar should just be snugly under the arm, in the armpit. So that is going to typically correspond with being about halfway down your sternum. And that's imperative because that sets up the whole exercise. So from here, I'll be able to get under the bar quite comfortably. It also means I'm going to be able to rack the bar comfortably. So let me show you what I mean. So let's say I've finished my reps. I'm now walking back in and I'm dropping it in so it's safe. If the bar is too low or too high, that could be quite a problem when we come to rack the bar, especially if it's too high. Let me show you. So all I've done is taken the rack height up one hole. So if I do the arm test now, my arm isn't horizontal. So although the bar is still under the armpit, my arm isn't horizontal. So straight away that tells me that's too high. But let's just say you've got a bit confused, you've forgotten which number, and it's only one. It doesn't sound much. It's actually going to make the pickup quite a bit easier. So if I was to pick it up here, it's a nice easy pickup now. However, let's say we've we've gone for a heavy set. It's our third set. We've gone to failure, and that bar is now being pushed down. Let's say we've got a lot of weight on the bar. That bar has lowered. I'm getting fatigued. I'm walking it back in, and I'm struggling. And let's imagine we don't have the spotter arms. Let's imagine we're now pressing outside of the squat rack. We're in a bit of doo-doo, so we're then having to go up onto our toes. And you never want to be in that position where you're having to go up onto your toes because we're now unstable and all sorts of things can happen. That's why, if anything does happen within a squat rack with the spotter arms up close, the worst thing is going to be you're going to create a bit of noise. Importantly, you're going to walk away to be able to tell the tale. So bar height is imperative. Okay, so step 2 now. So we've got our arm position sorted. We now need to get this bar out of the rack so we can start to press it. And this is all about how we take it out of the rack. So there's a few ways of doing this. I guess the preferred way would be we're going to be standing under the bar. So we're not going to be picking it up here. We're too far away. Again, we've got a long moment arm going back to the deadlift video. So we need to get our chest under the bar. So we're going to be bending at the hips, bending at the knees. And then we're standing with the legs. So that's one way. Another way is one foot forwards. So we're going to step towards it. So I'm going to bring my other foot towards and stand up. I would say there's no real right or wrong. It's whatever feels comfortable for you. But the main take-home message is we're picking the bar up with our legs. The arms haven't featured yet, other than holding the bar. We're getting under and we're standing up. My preference is one foot forward and a step into it. Now, the other thing to mention as well is to pick it up with intent. So as you start your journey with the barbell press, it will maybe start to make sense down the line. What I mean by that is once you're gradually going heavier and heavier and heavier, and let's say you're on your third and final set, you've got heavy weight, you go in for a new 5 rep max, you want to pick this bar up like you mean it. So if you're kind of going through the motions and standing up, it's going to feel heavy. And strength training a lot of the time is psychological. If that feels heavy when I pick it up and I'm going for my third and final set, maybe a new 5 rep max record, chances are I'm going to talk myself out of it. Whereas if I've kind of got myself a little bit psyched up and I'm attacking that pickup, that feels like, right, game on, let's go for it. So you don't have to be slapping yourself or slapping other gym users. I wouldn't recommend that. But inside your head, right, it's game time now. So get yourself focused, and we're getting under the bar and standing up fast and powerful with the legs. Okay, so that's step 2. Right then, so we know where we're gripping the bar. We know how to get the bar off the cups. So steps 3 and 4 now. So step 3, we're going to take 1 step back, 2 step back, and that's about it. We don't want to be moving any further away from those cups than needs be. If I'm back here and I'm fatiguing and I've got a heavy bar that's just wanting to meet the ground, I've got a long way to travel. So we don't need any extra added effort. So we've unracked 1 step, 2 step, and then your feet will typically find the position they want to be in. You're not going to be taking an incredibly wide step. You're not going to be standing with your feet together. You'll intuitively, once you've unracked 1 step, 2 step, you'll intuitively be adjusting your feet to get into the optimal position. And typically, it's going to be the position where, imagine you're taking a vertical jump. That's where that force transmission, that force production is at its greatest. That's where your feet will kind of figure it out for themselves. So you don't really need to be thinking too much about your feet. You will find the spot. Okay, so step 3. 1 step, 2 step, and now what we're concerned with is where the bar is resting. We want that. See what I'm doing there? I've got a little bit of elastic recoil in the arms. I'm not resting the bar on my chest. I'm not holding it up, so that's taking effort. So here, the bar is resting passively. Okay, that's where we're holding it. It's going to be somewhere like at the bottom of the throat region. If it's down there, that's too much hard work to break that inertia. We're resting on that passive elastic tension there. Step 4. So step 4 is a big one. So the barbell is always wanting to travel from point A to point B and point B to point A. If it ever deviates from that vertical line, in essence, we're going from A to B to C, that's inefficient. That's extra force production that we need to find. So it's hard enough as it is moving these things without making it even more hard work. So point A to point B to point A. So with the barbell press, we've actually got a little bit of a problem, and the problem is us. So let me show you. So it's resting it in that passive tension, just at the bottom of my throat. If I was to press here, I'm going to lose some teeth. I'm going into my chin. That's going to hurt. So we've got 2 options. One option is to go around my chin. Well, that means I'm now deviating. So that's point A to point B. I'm now going A to B, and I've lost that. So going back to the video 1, the deadlift, I've increased that moment arm. And when you're pressing, there is no room for increasing that moment arm. That has to travel A to B. So I wouldn't recommend option 1 of deviating around your head. We're not going to smash our chin and teeth. So the solution, we get out of the way. So from here, I'm now ready to go. I'm going to arch back. I've now moved my head out the way. It's going A to B. My head comes back under the bar, and then it comes back out the way. Passive tension. So we simply move the head backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. Now at first, you're going to be overthinking it. You're going to be really thinking, is your head out the way? Trust me, once you've been doing it enough time, it's just second nature. You don't have to think about it. So we're the problem and we're the solution. So I'm getting out the way, getting out the way. So it's important the head follows back under the bar once it's out the way. That means once the head is back under, we've got maximal force production through the arm. So the head doesn't stay back there, because again, we've then increased the moment arm. We're bringing everything back underneath. So we want everything to be in one straight vertical line, no extra moment arm, maximal force production. Right then, so the only thing left to do now is to put it all into action for you. I should stress actually, so we could also call this a strict press. I'm not using my legs. So another iteration of the press is a push press, where we're bending the legs to then drive up. I'll cover that in a subsequent video. So that there's no leg action. The only movement is when we're arching back. So we're arching our upper back backwards to get that out of the way. We're not bending at the knees. I just want to stress that point. Okay, so I'll try and put 5 reps together. I've intentionally made it heavy for me because I want you to hopefully see me, hopefully executing good form. I did a session last night, bench press, so my arms are absolutely knackered. So this is going to be genuinely tough, and the only way I'll be able to get that above my head, hopefully for 5 reps, is with good technique. So it's time to practice what I've been preaching and hopefully show you what it should look like-ish. So step 1. I've usually got Queens of the Stone Age blaring out at this point. There we go. So I was close to the cups. I couldn't get that bar onto the cups fast enough. Had I been back here, that would have been a long journey. I've got the spotter arms close, so should anything go wrong, that bar is only travelling, 10 inches before the spotter arms do their job. Right, I'm going to recover, and then I'll show you what it looks like outside of the squat rack. Right then, so if you don't have the luxury of one of these tall squat racks where you can press inside, so this is a new rack when I moved into this clinic. My old rack was too low, so I couldn't have pressed within the squat rack. So if you don't have a tall squat rack you can press within, you're going to be squatting on the outside of a squat rack, or even off some squat stands. So it's exactly the same. There's no difference to the setup other than it's even more imperative and more important that in the absence of the squat rack, in the absence of the spotter arms, you don't go too far back. So it's going to be exactly the same setup. I'm staying close. Staying close. There we go. So, pressing on the outside, I've just realised, subconsciously, I'm keeping myself even closer. Because if you notice then, I didn't actually need to step forwards to get the bar onto the racks. I simply leant, and then it was already there. So intuitively, my brain is thinking safety. It knows I don't have the spotter arms. It's not allowing me to go too far back. If you're new to it and you find yourself stepping back, get yourself forwards. Okay, because we don't want any injuries. Right. Okay, now time for my top tip. Okay, so my top tip. So the bar I've been using today, the bar that I was using in the deadlift video, this is my MirrorFit 7-foot Olympic barbell. And all 7-foot Olympic barbells are 20 kilograms. If you want confirmation, all the bars should have an information cap. So that will tell you the length, the diameter, the weight. So if you're not sure of the weight of the bar you're lifting, check the end cap. So for a lot of my patients who I'm introducing to strength training, or a lot of my strength training clients who are new to it, especially for the press, 20 kilograms is too heavy as a starting weight. So that's where this superb bar here comes in. So as you can see, it's still sitting on the rack. So it's long enough to be accommodated by the J cups, but oops, it's a lot lighter. So this is aluminium. Let me check. There we go. So again, it's a MirrorFit. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's a 7 kilogram technique bar. So the great thing about this is it's light enough for anyone I've been introducing the press to and other exercises. Everyone can press 7 kilograms. The great thing about it is you can load it up to 90 kilograms. Now, I've never, myself included, pressed 90 kilograms above my head. So for most people, this is going to be more than enough for pressing as well as bench pressing. So it's exactly the same, it's just obviously a lot lighter, a lot shorter. So if you think you might benefit from having a lighter starting weight than 20 kilograms, then a Mirror Fit technique bar at 7 kilograms will do the job. And if you're using a gym and if they don't have one, if all they have is a 20 kilogram or even a 15 kilogram, then harass them to get one. Right, well, I hope that helps. My arms are completely shredded now, but it was all good fun. I hope you've got a lot from it, and I look forward to bringing you the next video soon. Take care.